So I remember when comedian Cat Williams said this line, and he was talking about how this woman was blaming other people for her self-esteem, and like you lowered my self-esteem, and you're the reason why I have low self-esteem. And he's like,
oh, self-esteem. It's esteem of yourself.
well, in this video, we're going to talk about something very similar in the same family of that, and that is self-concept. Because you are responsible for your self-concept. You should check in with yourself from time to time to see how are you doing with this self-concept. So let's actually look up both definitions. So we're going to start with self-esteem. Your self-esteem is how we value and we perceive ourselves. And it is very easy for us to place the blame on someone else and say that we see ourselves a certain way because this person put us down and this person has degraded us. And I'm not saying that didn't happen. I'm not saying that our feelings don't get hurt by other people. But what I'm saying is that ultimately we do have the power, we do have the control over what it is that we actually believe. So we do have control over our own self-esteem and our own self-concept. Cat Williams was right, hilariously right, but right. And it's the same for self-concept. So let's look up and see what it says when you look up self-concept. Remember what it just said for self-esteem is how we value and perceive ourselves. So it says self-concept is pretty much an individual's belief about himself or herself. Like, what is it that you believe about yourself? There's a lot of things that play into our own self-concept or what it is that we believe about ourselves. So self-concept is generally thought of as your own individual perception of your behavior, of your abilities, and of your unique characteristics. So pretty much self-concept, self-esteem is in the same family. Your self-esteem is when you are going to self-evaluate. You may make comparisons. It may be fragile. But what I like about using the definition of self-concept is that it is your own identity of how you think about yourself. It's not just what you believe about yourself, but it's what you think about yourself. This is how you perceive yourself. This is how you think about yourself. This is how you feel about yourself. And I think that is so important. It's not necessarily what you put on for show. Like, I'm this, I'm that, I'm the baddest, I'm the greatest, I'm all of that. And it's not that. It's who you really believe that you are. It's who you really think that you are. It's the voices that's going on in your head, the thoughts that are in your mind. That's self-concept. And so it's very important for us not to get caught up in this matrix where we aren't checking in with who we are and what we believe about ourselves. It's so easy now with filters and AI, all of this that you can do to at least temporarily not have to face your own issues with your own self-concept, your own self-esteem, and how you feel about yourself. But I feel that when it comes to self-love, self-concept is super important, because when you are able to cultivate a healthy self-concept about yourself, then you're definitely going to have that greater love, that greater self-love. And when you have that greater self-love and you're taken care of, then you are going to be in the position to pour into someone else's cup, in a position to make a better impact and contribution to your community, to your family, to your society. So let's get to self-concept and how it relates to self-love. All right. So in this video, I'm going to be talking to you about self-concept, how it relates to self-love. So we already said that an individual's belief about himself, what they think about themselves, how they perceive themselves, including all their attributes, is the definition of self-concept. A similar definition comes from Rosenberg's 1979 book on the top, where he says that self-concept is the totality of an individual's thoughts and feelings about themselves, referencing themselves to an object. Just like you may have a thought or a feeling about something outside of yourself, what is that thought and feeling about yourself? I'm telling you right now, how you think and especially how you feel is the secret to what you are going to attract. It is a secret. The feeling is the secret to what it is that you are going to attract. So I want to make it very clear, as we talked about cultivating a healthy self-concept, because it relates to self-love and it relates to manifestation, which is what this series is about. If you have not seen some of the other videos in this series, continue watching this one, but when you're finished, you can go back. I've created a self-love and manifestation playlist where we talk about self-love, we talk about manifestation, we talk about the law of assumption, the law of attraction, the law of vibration, as well as self-concept. So what self-concept isn't, it's not putting yourself on a pedestal in front of others. It's not what we're talking about. Instead, it's the time to really take to assess yourself the way you are, being very honest. You don't have to put up a front or cover for anyone else, and realizing that honestly, who you are and how you are right now is enough. Where you are right now is where you're supposed to be. And at the same time, we are always working on self-improvement. So it's like two sides of the same coin. You can be happy with who you are and the feeling that you are enough while simultaneously working on self-improvement, working on personal growth, because there's always room to grow. There's always room to evolve. There's always room to elevate into a better version of ourselves. All right. And I feel like that is very comforting. It's encouraging to me, knowing that way we're not sitting, wallowing in despair, moping, filled with discouragement, having a lack of satisfaction for who we are or for our own life, because we have come to the conclusion that we are enough and there's nothing wrong with being who we are right now, while we're still able to go inside and look at our own personal perspective, our own personal thoughts and feelings of our self-concept, and then work towards developing that and evolving that and cultivating that so it can grow. So we're ultimately always growing. A wise man once said that you're either growing or dying. I think it was Bob Proctor. I think Bob Proctor once said that everything is growing. If you're not growing, you're dying. So you're moving. Everything is movement, law of motion. You're moving. So I'm sharing this information in this video so we both can continue to move forward, continue to grow, continue to elevate. So one of the things too, understanding that we are enough, which can contribute to our healthy self-concept, which contributes to self-love, which contributes to manifestation, is being able to trick ourselves into believing, being able to shift our focus into believing that we're not going to focus on what is, but we're going to shift our focus on what could be. I'll say that again. We're not going to just focus on what is, because people tell me all the time, it's like, hey, people say all the time, Shira, maybe you can have a healthy self-concept. You have a significant other and I don't. You have a good paying job and I don't. And you go on vacations and I don't. And the thing is that if you only look at what is, it's going to have a negative effect on your self-concept, especially if you're looking at someone else, because I can look at my life and then look at someone who, oh my gosh, I'm still in the classroom, but I teach. Okay. No one really walked around saying, oh, wow, I have the best job on the planet. I'm a teacher. Well, actually, people do say that, but it's not for finances. It's not for this glamorous life that, or many people want to project on social media or project or live. I look at people who seem like they lay on the beach all day long and they have this marvelous life. And when they get home, they have a chef that prepares their meals, as opposed to when I get home from work, I'm trying to figure out what is it that we're going to eat. So if I'm looking at other people, obviously I could feel like where I'm at is not good and have a bad self-concept of myself by saying, well, maybe I'm not the best wife. Maybe I'm not the best mother. I'm always scrambling to find out what it is that we're going to eat. But that is not what we want to focus on. Even talking about those things, and I want to share those things because I wanted to just be this real person and not someone that just have all the answers. And I don't want to be looked at as like, oh, of someone who's just like, because no one is. We all have our things. So I wanted to share that. But I say that to say that the trick is that we have to stop looking at what is and shift our focus on what could be. All right. Shifting our focus on what could be. So when you look at what could be, like, wow, wouldn't it be wonderful if, oh my goodness, wouldn't this be amazing? So you go inward and you use your imagination and you use these, isn't it wonderful? Oh, how wonderful this is. Oh my goodness. Isn't it wonderful that healthy meals are prepared and I can go home and sit at the table and spend time with my family and the healthy meals are already prepared? Oh my God. Once you go inward and use your imagination, like imagine driving the car into the garage, turning off the car and walking through the door and being greeted by a family, and there is a cook there who have already prepared a delicious and nutritious and healthy meal. Oh my God, that's wonderful. This is wonderful. And I sit at the table and I eat the grilled shrimp and the Brussels sprouts. And I don't know if that goes together, but yeah, those sauteed Brussels sprouts with bacon. Yeah, let's just do that. And me imagining that, that's good. That is so good. That helps. And the fact that I'm able to provide this to my family, where I'm able to actually pay someone, hire someone, employ someone to cook the meal, and then that gives me more time to check in with my son to see how his day was at school and what homework he has, and if he has any questions about his homework, and we can practice Spanish, and I can talk to my husband about his job and what he did today and different clients that he had. That is absolutely wonderful. That is good. And while this may seem like just a fantasy of me just right now going into my imagination, and that's what I wanted to do, I wanted to show you what it's like for me to go in my imagination and do that. And when I'm in my imagination, it felt so real. And not only that, but the more I do it, my subconscious mind won't know that it's not real. To my subconscious mind, that did really happen. And I really do have a maid who makes, delicious and healthy and nutritious meals for my family, which helps improve my self-concept on who I am as a mother and as a wife. And I mean, it's something that works. And not only does this work in giving you a strategy to help you improve your self-concept, but it's also something that we're all familiar with. And we're familiar with it within the story of the creation. Okay. So remember the story of the creation from the Bible where God didn't look at what was around. Like it wasn't like, oh, it's nothing and this is nothing and it's always going to be nothing. But instead, God went inside his imagination and decided, let us make man in our own image. Let us create light and darkness and separate the two and call the light day and call darkness night. Let us create animals. Let us create rivers and streams. It wasn't there, but the creation is an example from the Bible showing us firsthand God creating the heavens and earth by first and foremost having an idea of what he wanted in his imagination, and all of it manifested. And not only have it all manifested, but we can see that this creation is still evident today. It's evident in you, it's evident in me, it's evident in nature. So a God that created the heavens and the earth created you and me in our own image. So instead of being so caught up in, did I go to church every Sunday? Did I clap loud enough? Did I pray long enough? Did I give enough offering? All these little man-made like checkpoints that were created. I really feel like that these stories from the Bible are examples of how we should live our life. We live our life where we have the ability to use our imagination to create as well. We call those things that be not as though they were. We shift our focus on not what's there, which was nothing. We shift our focus on what could be. And I think that's really, really helpful. I'm hoping that's helpful for you. It's very helpful for me. I want to share something that happened on my Facebook yesterday. And so there was someone and they were just like, I don't understand how you could pay people to work for you. If it's something you can do for yourself, why would you pay someone? I don't understand how you can just pay someone for something that you can do on your own. And me and the person had a really great conversation. There was no feelings hurt. We were able to disagree cordially. And honestly, I even said, I'm not saying that his way is wrong and my way is right. What I'm saying is that it is a self-concept thing. And how I perceive myself is that money continues consistently and constantly. One of my affirmations, money is constantly and consistently flowing to me again on a continuous basis and increasing quantities. This is an abundant universe. And what I'm seeking is seeking me. And because of that, I feel comfortable paying someone to clean my house. I feel comfortable paying someone to cook for me, even though I haven't done that yet, but I'm looking into it. And it's not because I just have all this money. I actually believe that I can manifest it. And so my self-concept about myself is that what God did in the creation, what God did in Genesis, and by God creating us in our own image, we're able to do the same thing. Oftentimes with YouTube, I get two different type of people that come after me. Number one, those Bible thumping Christians that don't like any type of talk of manifesting, of law of attraction and everything, and they come and they're like, la, 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 you're not supposed to desire to have money and riches, and you're not supposed to desire to have a chef so you can spend more time with your family. You're not supposed to desire those things. You know what? We're just gonna have to agree to disagree. Sometimes the other people that come at me are the law of attraction, law of vibration, woo-woo type people that's basically like, well, why did you mention God and don't mention God? You know what? I've been on both sides of the coin, and I feel like both sides of the coin are the same side. It's two heads. Whether or not people want to believe in a personified God is their own opinion, but I will use words like God and universe. And we all can share our own personal beliefs. Our beliefs will change over time, but I feel compelled to share my thought and my take on self-concept. And I wanted to leave you with the story about the creation, because if there's not anything else that can be an instant boost to your self-concept, is knowing that you can take nothing when you have absolutely nothing, which there was nothing here, and you can use your imagination and decide, let there be light, and you can manifest light. But it's going to be challenging for you to do that if you don't love yourself and if you don't have a healthy concept about who you are right now. And it's okay to recognize our faults. We all have them. It's okay to recognize that we're not perfect. And the thing is that you don't have to be perfect. You cannot be perfect and still be enough. You could have a void in an area of your life and still be enough. And with that void, you can manifest and create the heavens and the earth. You can create your heaven and your earth through manifestation. But I believe that understanding what self-concept is and cultivating a healthy concept for yourself is one of the keys in helping you manifest and learning how to manifest and being successful at manifesting. I am going to continue this series on self-love and manifestation. Post your manifestation questions in the comments, and if there's anything that you want me to share, any personal stories of things that I manifest. Like I said in another video, I am going to be sharing my vibration room, my vision, my meditation room. I can share some of my vision boards. Just let me know what you need. I consider this aspect of YouTube a form of service, a form of me giving, a form of me sowing seeds. So let me know what you want to eat. Let me know what harvest you want to have, and I'll share those seeds with you. If you enjoyed this video, please share it with someone. Number one, to share effect, please share it with someone. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you think. ShiraNicole. Appreciate you. Bye.